Welcome to Soccer Gaming, and welcome to the channel where you can learn some helpful tips and tricks about ARK. And in this episode, we are going to go over how you should get started in ARK. This is kind of no matter what map you choose, this is kind of how you're going to build up, or at least the easiest way to build up and stay safe and not get agitated by getting killed all the time. This is the best way to start ARK. So if you'd like to watch that, stick around. So this video is going to kind of be brought down into basically three sections. The first section is like, what is the point of all of this? The next section is what you should know, basically starting out, and then the suggested way of actually starting out. So if you're wondering, what is the point of this video? What is the point of starting an ARK? Well, there's a ton of things you can do in ARK. There's a ton of fun things you can do in ARK, and everyone can do it a little different and still enjoy the game, which is why this game is so fun and why it's still played by so many people, is you can just adapt and change and still enjoy the game. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, what do you want to get out of the game? What do you want to do? Do you just want to build a big base and just protect it? Do you want to build an army and destroy everyone else? You can also keep trying to max your dinos, keep having a mate and their eggs hatch and everything, and keep trying to imprint better and better. There's just so many things you can do. And with the mods that you can add to this game, there's like basically endless amount. There's a mod that has NPCs that attack you. So if you like to build a big base and try to protect it, you can get NPCs to attack you. And if you're playing PC version and you own the server, or if you're playing a single player like on offline mode where you're just using your computer as like the server, you can actually spawn in dinos. So you could spawn in dinos that would attack you. You would have to kind of protect your base from those dinos. So there's just so many things that you can do in this. And so the first thing is trying to find out what you want to get out of it, what you want to do, play with different things. And maybe while you're playing, you just wanted to build a bigger base. So you get your base built and you're like, well, actually, I should really get bigger dinos so that I can protect it. So then you go out and search for dinos that you want to try to tame and everything. So the first thing you want to find out is, what is the point of playing this? What do you want to get out of it? The next thing is what you should know starting out. Now, there are a bunch of things in this game of ARK, and some is based on the map you select, some is based on how you want to play. A few really big key things, what you want to know starting out is you really want to know what dinosaurs are passive, neutral, and aggressive. And I'm gonna do a whole video on this later about what passive dinos are and how to deal with them, and neutral and aggressive. But the passive dinos are the ones that kind of walk around and they don't bother you. Even if you like try to attack them, they just run away. They don't attack you back. A couple of them are like the parasaur. If you attack it, it just runs off. Same thing with like a dodo. It doesn't do anything. You attack it, it runs off. The neutral are the things like the trikes that don't attack you at all, but if you hit them or attack them, try to kill them, then they will run after you. And then there is the aggressive ones. These aggressive ones are if they get within a certain amount. I don't exactly know what their line of sight is, but if they get within a certain amount to you, like proximity wise, if they get within a certain range, they will actually aggro on you and chase you down, even if you don't see them. So it's not like, oh, I attacked them first, they're attacking me back. They'll run up from behind you and just attack you and try to kill you because they're aggressive dinosaurs. And the big thing of this is you want to understand what are passive ones, so you can just walk right by and not have to worry about it. You want to know which ones are neutral, so that way if you do attack them, you know that they will attack you back. And then the aggressive ones, you know, kind of to stay away from early on, because these things can kill you and they'll run you down. That's what you need. That's something that's very important to know starting out. The next portion is like how to use the engrams to unlock what you need, what like the things you need starting out, like the axe, the spear, the arrows, the bow, like all of that stuff. You need to know how to kind of use those early on and starting out, so you're not just unlocking everything in the row, running out of points, and then later on when you unlock more of the levels and stuff, you'll get more Ingrams to try to learn, that you have the Ingram points to be able to learn the most important ones. So that's kind of the next thing in what you should know starting out, is kind of understanding what Ingrams you will need and at what level they are, so that way you kind of have a way to build towards that. Like if I want to do some taming, but I don't want to use a crossbow or a normal bow, well, you need to know when you get the rifle so that you can make the tranq darts, which the tranq darts are at like level 62, so that's like a while up there. So if you know that, you know, well, if I'm going to tranq stuff early on, I can't wait for level 62 and tranq darts. I gotta work with the bow and arrows and the tranq arrows. So stuff like that is also kind of important to know, and that's to knowing what Ingrams you want to unlock and when. The next one is what you need to know to craft objects. And this is like kind of going along with the Ingrams thing. Like you need to know, okay, when is a bow not enough anymore? At what level are the dinos where the bow is just not effective anymore? And I'm like getting chased down and all this stuff, and I need to upgrade to the crossbow. So knowing when to upgrade to those things is very important as well. Once you start running into dinos that are a little higher level, like at the beginning, let's say you start on the beach, you're seeing dinos that are like maybe 20s, like down to like level 2s. The further in you get, you start seeing dinos that are 50s and 100s, and then at that point, a bow is not going to kill a level 100 dinosaurs. So you kind of got to realize, well, I got to start using the crossbow, I got to start using rifle, I got to start using a pistol, a shotgun, all that good stuff. You need to kind of know when you need to upgrade to those things, at what level the dinos are, to be able to kill them. And then the last thing is you need to know how to build, and this includes the floors, the walls, the doors, the ceiling, all of that stuff, to be able to build a house. Because if you don't have a house, if you die, you have nothing to go back to. And yeah, you could say, well, I could put down a floor tile, and I could put a bag on it, or I could put a bed on it, and if I die, I could spawn there. Yeah, but you have no loot to try to go back and get the loot that you lost. So by building a house, you're going to have protection. You're also going to be able to kind of build up animals or dinos in order to help you defend your base and attack things and harvest things quicker. There's just a whole bunch of that in there as well. And again, this isn't something like, I can't go over all of this at once, because this would be like a 3-hour long video of what you should be doing. But those are kind of the things that you should know when starting out, is how to build with your floors, the walls, the ceilings, everything like that. And then also when to upgrade and stuff. So you start with thatch, which is used from trees, and then you use the axe to get lumber from the trees, and then that lumber or wood is used to make wood, which is better than thatch, and then you get stone, which is better than wood, and so on and so forth. That stuff, again, you need to kind of know building up. That way, if you get attacked by a dinosaur that's aggressive, they don't kill your thatch and come inside and kill you. If it's stone, they're going to struggle, if not even be able to knock down your building at all, because it's too strong. The last thing is suggested way of starting out. This is more of like, hey, just kind of do this and get used to the game. This isn't for like an experienced player that's like, oh, I don't have to do any of that stuff, I already know what I'm doing. This is for someone that's like, well, I'm kind of getting started new, I'm not really sure what I should be doing. What do I do? And you're going to follow these steps. You're going to find a quiet place to build. So you're going to look for basically no or minimal aggressive dinos. Now, if you start on the beach, that's a very good place. Most of those dinos are not aggressive. There are some like the Dilophosauruses or whatever with the big fans on their neck. Those are aggressive, but those are pretty much the only aggressive things you see on the beach when starting out. So if you want to just start on the beach, kind of build a little house until you can get leveled up and move in, that would be my suggestion. So find a quiet place to build that has no aggressive dinosaurs. Next thing is kind of what I talked about in the last one. Build a base with thatch first. Make sure you get your sleeping bag down. That way, if you do die, you can come back. Keep in mind the sleeping bag is only used once to respawn. So if you respawn using it, you're going to have to put another one down. You're going to have to craft and put another one down to keep respawning. Or you can upgrade to the simple bed, which will allow you to respawn constantly as long as the floor stays there and doesn't get destroyed by like a dino or something. Then you're going to upgrade from thatch to wood and wood to stone, and all that stuff. So you're going to upgrade your base to wood. Then you're going to upgrade to stone, and that's when you need to start gathering dinos to help you harvest the materials. So at this point, you might have a dino or two or whatever, but it's getting to the point where XP is getting a little more difficult to get. I'm not like crafting as much of stuff, and you kind of need a way to level up. And a lot of that is crafting. A big thing to craft is stuff like narco arrows and narcotics in general. And in order to do that, you need a bunch of narco berries, which are hard just to go out and try to pick up by yourself. You go to a bush and you press E or whatever to pick it up, and you get like maybe 8 narco berries per bush. And you know how long it can take to go from bush to bush. Now, if you tame a dinosaur that does good at collecting and harvesting those types of things, like a trike, you can go out, he can knock out like 5 or 6 bushes, and he brings in like 68, 70 narco berries. So if you do that for like even 2 to 5 minutes, you can come back with like 2,000 narco berries instead of the 300 that you would have brought back by just going from bush to bush and picking them yourself. So at this point, you want to start taming dinosaurs. You want to, like a trike is pretty easy to tame. Takes a couple of narco arrows and stuff. You'll knock it down. You'll give it miho berries or whatever you have as far as that goes, and you'll tame it. You'll put a saddle on it because the trike saddle is lower. I believe it's like level 16. You can learn trike saddle. Put a saddle on him. You'll jump on him. You'll go out. You'll hit all the bushes and stuff, and you'll drop all of the other like vegetation berries and stuff, and just keep the narco berries inside the trike, and then you'll deliver it home and make a bunch of narcotics, which will raise your level really, really high, really, really quickly. So once we do that, we're starting to get dinos. Then we need to wall out the bad dinos, or wall out the bad dinos from your tames, meaning you need to kind of build your base in a way. Usually what I do is I use like the wooden spikes just to put around the perimeter of where my base is, so that way while you're offline or while you're away doing something else, you don't have a aggressive dinosaur walk into your base and kill all your tames, because they see a dino and they just attack it. They don't pay attention to if it's you or them or just a random dino. They see a random dino and they're like, oh, I must attack. I'm aggressive. So you just need to make sure that you kind of keep your dinos and your tames safe at all times. So just kind of put stuff around your base to make it difficult for an aggressive dino to come in. Again, I use wooden spikes, and then at some point when you get the big large dinosaur gate to walk out of, you kind of destroy the spikes and put your big up dinosaur gate, and then just keep the spikes that your dinosaur gate doesn't cover. So then at this point, you're kind of like looking for stuff like metal and crystal, so that you can get a spyglass, so you can kind of see dinosaurs and their levels. And at this point is a good point to start getting flying dinosaurs. Now, the pteranodon or whatever that kind of spawns on the beach, the one with like a triangle beak or whatever, triangle head, those kind of spawn anywhere, and those are pretty easy to tame. You throw Bola on them and they're stuck, and then you just trank them with trank darts, and then you feed them some sort of meat, and then you get the saddle. I don't remember what level you get saddle at, but once you get that saddle, you could start flying around the map, and that's huge because then you can kind of fly up, go get metal, fly back to your base, drop it off in the smithy or whatever, and then go back and come back. So that's something that's really big at this point, is you want to start looking for your flying dinos, and you can... Basically, what I'd usually do is you kind of want an Argentavis for this because they can handle more weight. They're a little bit slower, but you take your Pteranodon, you go and you try to find a Argentavis bird. You're going to knock it down. You're going to tame it, and then you're going to fly it everywhere. The Pteranodons you kind of use just to level up to the next bird, but you definitely need flying dinos at this point because it's going to make it so much easier moving resources like metal and crystal and stuff like that. It's going to be so much easier moving those because they're usually on mountains or up in volcanoes or whatever. So it's something that you need to do is get some flying dinos. And then the last thing to do with those flying dinos, or with whatever dinos, or you just with running, you're going to roam around and find a place that you want to build your quote unquote big base. The base that you recently built is a starter base. This is where you started out, but this isn't where you're going to live the whole time. You want to live closer to resources, closer to dino spawns of dinos you want, or if you want to make a water base, or you kind of want to just build a base somewhere else, and you're going to need to roam around and kind of find that place, see where dino spawns, see where resources spawn, and then build your base accordingly there. But at this point, you want to venture out the rest of the map, see where everything is, see where you want to build that big base. And then at this point, you're ready to start getting the materials needed to put your base down and start building your big base from there. So hopefully that helps you out in getting started in ARK. If you have any questions, make sure you comment them down below. I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. And if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss out on other ARK content coming out very soon. Until next time, Slacker out.